Hello, I'm Roberta Winters, past president of the League of Women Voters of Radnor Township. As many of you know, I live in the Garrett Hill area, for which I am very fortunate. And when my daughters were young, the highlight of every summer was the 4th of July parade. They looked forward to that every year. And I actually have some pictures of them. The first one is of my daughter when she was older and pushing a baby carriage that held my youngest daughter. My older daughter was Betsy Ross, and my younger daughter was just there for holding up the flag with her stroller. The second slide is when my children were a little older, and you can see my oldest daughter, whose name is Lynette, pushing a cart that has been made into the shape of a cannon. And my younger daughter was pretending to be Molly Pitcher, and she was a heroine of the Revolution who actually helped stuff the cannons and made a difference for George Washington and his troops. And the last slide is one that you will see of my youngest daughter, who now has a baby of her own, who was pulling a float that she made of herself celebrating America's birthday that featured the Statue of Liberty. Now, when my children got too old, I actually joined the 4th of July Parade Committee because it had meant so much to our family. And I have served on that committee for several years. And this year is a really important year because it's the 75th year our parade has gone through the Garrett Hill neighborhood, and it goes right by my house. Now, to share with you a little more about this upcoming event, I have asked Bree Truby, our parade director, to be with us today. It's a pleasure, Bree, to have you with us. And I was wondering just how you got involved in the parade and how long you've served as its director.
Thank you so much for having me, Roberta. I'm very excited for this year. 75 years is quite a feat. I actually got involved. My sister-in-law was already on the committee, so about 5 years ago, she introduced me to the committee, and then I became director 3 years ago. So it's been 3 years, and I'm loving every second of it.
Well, I know one of the big deals is kids who ride their bikes in the parade. Can you tell us how that works? So if children want to ride in the parade, how that's done?
Yeah, absolutely. So the parade, everybody meets at Rosemont Business Center, and you have to register in order to walk in the parade. But we encourage all of our neighbors, and not just the ones that live in Garrett Hill, all of our Radnor residents to come be a part of the parade in a variety of different ways. But you do have to register. So you meet there, you register, and then there's categories that each of the registrants can put themselves in to win prizes.
Well, I noticed that some of the pictures I had people with like numbers on there. What do those numbers mean?
So the numbers help keep track because we have judges. So because it is something that you can win prizes for, the judges need to know what number each person is as they register.
Okay, so they actually get prizes too?
We do. We give prizes out. There's a first and second and third place prize, and it's cash prize for each category. And there's several categories.
So, like some of the pictures of my kids, you just saw them dressed up.
Yeah.
Is that a category still? You can just sort of dress up like Betsy Ross or something and march in the parade?
Yeah, so a lot of what people do is dress up. We have bikes, we have scooters, and we have, as you mentioned, wagons that are decorated in a variety of different ways to celebrate the 4th of July.
I've seen people push wagons and pull little, carts and stuff behind them. Are there categories that they can get a prize for too? So if you want to push your 6-month-old baby down the street and decorate the carriage, you can do that?
Absolutely, and we encourage everybody to decorate as big or small as they'd like to show their celebration for the day.
When I was looking through some of my pictures of the parade, I found a group entitled Common Ground, and I didn't even remember seeing them before. But some of them were dressed up like plants and vegetables, and they pulled a little cart behind them. It looked like a garden. And this is something that looked like the parents and the kids worked together. So is that something like, the parents can help?
Yeah, so we talked about, the strollers and the scooters and the little wagons, but your float can be as small or as large as you'd like it to be. In the past, we have had people, pull tractors along or pull behind pickup trucks and have a big float where they're all standing and celebrating the day.
So it's a possibility then that you can have these big floats. I mean, not like Macy's Parade, but right. You could have a tractor or something else that pickup trucks, and that's
we
great.
encourage it. And even the back of a pickup truck, if that's something that somebody wants to use as their float, they can certainly register that into the category.
Now, of course, we know you can't have a parade without a band. So do we have bands coming this year?
We have a lot of musical acts that we have set up, and a variety of them. So we've got the mummers coming, we've got the Highland bagpipes, as well as different types of the Mexican ballet, some folklore music, and then of course we have a variety of other acts that are with the parade as well.
Well, I know everybody loves looking forward to the mummers and this Highland string band that's been here forever, right?
Mm-hmm, correct,
and this Mexican group is fairly new, but they're so colorful.
They are. They really bring a lot of life to the parade, not just from the music, but their costumes. A couple of the musical acts really kind of bring these colorful costumes that really stand out among the parade.
And I remember for years, we used to have somebody who marched in the parade with stilts, like Uncle Sam. Do we still have a stilt walker?
We do. Unfortunately, he did have to miss the last one, but he will be back this year.
And I think with the stilt walker, I think it was like the Statue of Liberty, the last one I remember. So.
Yep, so we try to add a few characters where we can, just again, to keep the parade lively.
Now, one of the things I remember, and I know my children loved seeing the first responders in the parade, because we really want to recognize them. And I know particularly after COVID, they deserve a lot of recognition. So will they be involved in the parade again this year?
They will. So the parade actually starts with the police and our local fire chief, as well as our local fire companies marching in the parade. They have a flag. That's how our parade starts. They have the color guard there. So it's a great way to recognize them and recognize them first among the rest of the acts.
And I think there are always fire trucks, because I know my daughter has a dog, and every time they run their sirens, he just yelps. But there are fire trucks from all over the neighborhoods. I mean, it's not just, Radnor or Bryn Mawr. We have them like from Gladwin and other places too, right?
We do. We have all of the fire trucks. We invite them all to participate. Some years are different than others, just depending on what's going on. But we usually have about 4 or 5 that participate, and it's all along the main line.
Now, some years I remember we even had horses in the parade. And one year we had a carriage drawn by horses, but we don't do that anymore because it made a challenge for the people who walked after them. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
But we do have Mustangs, right? So we do have still a sense of cars and trucks, and then we have this Mustang brigade that always shows up. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have the Mustang Car Club, and then we have the Valley Forge Antique Car Club. So we have a fleet of antique and really cool cars for all the kids to see. And I know my son, that's his favorite, is all the different cars he gets to see that go in the parade.
And I know we have the Mustang that's a convertible. It usually carries the parade marshal.
Yep.
And I had a picture of Reverend Howard last year when he actually was the parade marshal. And choosing a parade marshal or someone to give tribute to is always a special challenge for us.
It is. However, we have such a large group of people who have not only dedicated themselves to service within the community, but also dedicated themselves in some way or another to helping the parade. So we are really excited for our Grand Marshal this year. And they are also first in the march when the parade begins, along with the police and the firemen.
And I know I wanted to include some pictures of some of those old military vehicles that we used to have, because there used to be a club that would bring Jeeps and little military trucks and things in the parade. And that was always interesting for people who are older, who could actually remember perhaps being a part of those troops.
And that we haven't seen as many of them, but we have had people reach out. So we'd love for people to reach out if they have an antique car or a military vehicle that would be able to come and drive in the parade. We are open to having them involved as well.
And I just want to mention that all the parade vehicles don't mix in with the children on bikes and stuff. The vehicles start at like the church in Garrett Hill, the AME church,
yep.
And all the walkers usually start at the Rosemont Business Center.
Yep, one of our committee members coordinates the lineup for the parade, and she's very conscious of making sure, specifically when we have the horses in the lineup, she's very conscious of making sure that what is together makes sense, especially between the music, the fire trucks, and the things that make also a lot of loud noises. We want to kind of give a break and then obviously showcase our neighbors in and out of it as well.
So now we know what's in the parade. Where exactly does it go? And, what do you do?
Yeah, so we start at Flippin' Bailey's, which is the corner of Garrett Avenue and Conestoga. Again, everybody sets up and registers at Rosemont Business Center, and then the parade actually starts right outside the big window of Flippin' Bailey's. And then it goes down Conestoga Road, up Lowry's, down a short part of Lancaster, down Garrett, over to Williams Road, and then down Lewis and up Rockingham, and the parade ends at the park.
So is that when the parade is over and everything's done?
No, we actually have a party in the park. So Clem McCrone Park, we host a party in the park for all of the neighbors. It includes hot dogs, beverages, and lots of games and different activities for the kids.
So I can remember doing pretzels. So the kids get pretzels and the hot dogs, and is it free?
So it's all free. This is our contribution to the community to make sure that everybody has a great day celebrating the 4th of July.
And so I can remember my kids always came home with their face painted, and they were the kids run to those bounce houses. I can hardly keep them back.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of fun. There's 3 bounce houses. There's face painting. We have a magic show. And then, of course, there's also a couple different places where you can buy T-shirts, you can buy raffles, and buy different, what we call tchotchkes, which is just another way to kind of decorate yourself to celebrate the day.
So why are there things like raffles and things you can buy there? What's the reason for that?
So we actually, this parade's a little bit different. Some are run by, let's say, townships or states or cities. We actually are completely funded by donations from the community. So the reason we have a raffle, the reason we sell T-shirts is because we're trying to make money for the next year to keep this wonderful tradition going.
Did we do anything to raise money this year?
We did. So this year was the first annual bingo night, and it was very successful. We're really proud of it, and we're looking forward to continuing that tradition into next year.
So I think there's a fundraising event that's also being held right away, but I'm not sure those people who are going to be viewing this show are going to see it. But what exactly are we doing this year that is a continuation of, I think, something you started last year? Yeah,
so we used to do where we would ride the fire trucks around the neighborhoods, and just logistically, we decided that to actually have a touch-a-truck instead. So yes, this Sunday we have a touch-a-truck, and we will always plan it every year to try to be around that first week or first Sunday of June. So for those that missed it this year, you can always look forward to it next year. But basically we bring in a bunch of vehicles, township vehicles, construction vehicles, as well as our local firemen, police, and ambulance. And the kids can come and explore the trucks. We have games and we have a raffle there as well.
Wow, that's great. So if they miss the opportunity to donate, it's never too late, right?
It's never too late. The donations are ongoing throughout the year.
So people could just go to the website. We have a website that's GarrettHillPA.com, and they can click on there and they can donate?
That's correct, yep.
So one of my jobs this year is to hand out programs. And I've always handed out programs up and down the route so people know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But why is there a program? I mean, I don't ever go to parades where they give out programs.
So we give out programs because we want to make sure that we're recognizing those that are contributing in terms of donations to the parade. We're very thankful to have had this tradition continue on. And again, it is all because of the community and the donations and the time that they take out of their days and weeks to be able to contribute. So we want to make sure we recognize those people. And there's a variety of different businesses like Villanova University, as well as our local businesses that are within Garrett Hill that donate, as well as, our neighbors.
And I always find it's interesting to read about the Grand Marshal, too, because sometimes you don't, oh, who's that, and then you find out what these people are and what the contributions they've made to our community. So now my tough question is, we have control about, how much money we spend and how the kids get involved. But what happens with the weather? If it rains, what happens on the 4th of July?
Unfortunately, it's not a rain and shine, it's only a shine. So unfortunately, if it rains, we will not be able to have the parade. That only means that what we'll be able to do throughout the year, we might be able to contribute in other ways, as well as have even better parade the next year.
Okay. Now, we'll hope for good weather on Thursday, the 4th of July, and we hope everybody in the community and beyond the Garrett Hill community can join us also, not only for the parade, but for all the fun at Clem McCrone Park. Of course, do you have any advice about where people should park? Because I know sometimes people get upset because they wait till the last minute and then the roads are closed and It's all over.
Obviously, if you're in the Garrett Hill community, I encourage walking, even if it's a little bit more of a walk than you're used to. If you can't do that in terms of parking, you'll have to park outside of the parade route. So we mentioned it goes from Flippin' Bailey's down all the way to Lowry's and Conestoga. That road will be cut off, as well as between Garrett and Lowry's on Lancaster. So getting through to everything, those will be shut down as of 9:30 in the morning. So just making sure you plan ahead to make sure you're there and you're not trying to get through Conestoga Road around that time. And then 2, you have to park outside that routes in the neighborhoods.
So there is parking in the neighborhoods, but you've got to make sure you can find a route to get to those neighborhoods, avoiding Conestoga and Lancaster.
Yep, like everything else, make sure you plan ahead.
So thank you, Bree, for sharing your time together to tell us about your vision of how things are going to go on the 75th Parade in Garrett Hill. And again, those opening ceremonies, I think, will be starting around 10:45.
That's correct.
Because we register at like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
I would say 9:30 is a good time to come register, yep.
And then after that at 9:30, then we have judging around 10 o'clock. So we give everybody a chance to get there and get their little name tags. And then it will kick off at the corner of Conestoga and Garrett. Now, best of all, after that, they can go till 2 o'clock and have fun and food at the park, all free.
Yep, correct.
Now, we appreciate all you do, Bree, and we hope to see all of them in our community to come to Garrett Hill. So we thank you, our viewers, for tuning in today, and we hope you also will continue to donate through our website. And we also hope that you will continue to watch Radnor Studio Mainline Television Network, because they continue to help support us and our efforts to engage people in the local community. And finally, keep tuning in and learn more about the 75th Parade of Garrett Hill, and we hope you'll be there.
Thank you, Roberta.